Welcome back, and now we're joined by local business owner Nathan Siemens. Nathan, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Now, Nathan, you're raised here in Cranbrook, not born here, but raised. Spent your childhood here. What do you remember about growing up in this little town?
Well, I remember living very close to Muriel Baxter, the now defunct Muriel Baxter, and being able to just ride my bike to school, meeting random friends in the first few years, and really localizing that little neighborhood. It was right on the Kinsman Park, so there's Joseph Creek there's the St. Mary's Sledding Hill. And just sort of, in a way, running amok within that park and playground area.
And as many people do when they finish school and they're out to see the big wide world, you moved away from Cranbrook. You spent some time in Vancouver, and you spent some time in Winnipeg. Was there a sense while you were away there, was there still that strong connection with Cranbrook while you were away?
It's strange. At first, not so much, but it seemed like the longer that I was away, the more the cities just didn't have what I needed. The people there were great, the culture and lifestyle was great, but there was just something about this valley that drew me back. As we said, it wasn't something I could put my finger on, but it's just like, okay, it's now time to go back to Cranbrook.
You were living in Winnipeg at one point. Would it have had anything to do with the cold and the wind?
I don't know. The winters were really tough for sure, but no, not so much. I really loved Winnipeg. I have a strong sense of pride for Winnipeg. I think it was actually the lack of mountains, even though I wasn't utilizing the mountains at that point in my life, just the lack of them being there was a weird thing for me.
So you moved back to the area in 2009. You're actually living in Kimberley for a while there, but still in the Kootenays. And I guess fast forwarding a few years here, something that really speaks to your passion for the town. You took offence to, you and a friend took offence to a description of Cranbrook in the worldwide travel book and website Lonely Planet. They described Cranbrook as a depressingly workaday town, and it was given a skip it.
Yeah, it's a do yourself a favor and continue on to Creston or Kimberley.
So how did that make you feel?
Well, it was, to be honest, it was sort of that whole, I don't know, take it and run with it type thing of, it's sort of funny in a way. Like you can either take great offense and be angry at the Lonely Planet or play off it and have fun. And we actually, we did mugs, we sold some mugs and raised money to buy kids' bikes is what we spent the money on. So we got 6 bikes for kids for Christmas that year through those mugs. But it was more like, this is funny. Let's sort of celebrate who we are. We're not this, quintessential resort community. We're Cranbrook and we love it. We are who we are, and let's just grab that.
Do you think your little campaign there got the desired effect?
I think so. Yeah, we got a lot of hate from locals thinking that we were on board with it, but also it got so many people excited about it, and we got more pats on the back than thumbs downs. And actually, we got in conversation with Lonely Planet themselves, and that in and of itself was pretty fun and funny.
And I think there's still a bit of work to be done, because I just checked the Lonely Planet website, lonelyplanet.com, and Cranbrook is still referred to, not in the greatest of terms, a charmless array of strip malls, I quote. And for the eating portion of Lonely Planet, it says, fast food choices abound along Highway 395. So there isn't really a lot there yet.
No, and it's funny too, because clearly they just didn't step off the beaten path, right? So if you're driving down the strip, yes, it's fast food restaurants abound, but you turn into Baker Street and you got Soul Food and The Cottage and Secura. They're all right there. They're great little joints, right? So, and also I find it really funny because if you're driving down the strip, all you have to do is this, and it's the steeples. Or if you're going that way, all you have to do is this, and you see all the way up to Lumberton Valley. And it's, if you don't look above the fast food restaurant signs, sure, but it just lift your angle anymore.
There's definitely a perception, like in the, I guess, maybe not like the area and around Cranbrook and beyond, that Cranbrook is kind of not really worth stopping at. How do you think you go about changing that perception? Because there clearly is a lot more than just a few fast food restaurants. And
well, you know what? I think that it's just organically happening. There's the right businesses doing the right things right now that are making a change, and that they openly love this town. Like, all you have to do is look at like the Paw Shop or the Choice, or again, I know I've already mentioned them, but Soul Food. But they're just, those people are very passionate about this town, and they have been. And they're starting to slowly change that guard that, you know, the status quo isn't going to necessarily make it happen anymore. Mm-hmm. And just to put that little bit of elbow grease into polishing up the front of their businesses, or not even necessarily that, but taking initiative within the community. Like the cycling club is very involved. Obviously these are ones that I know, and I'm sure it's even broader than that in the outside of the circles I run in. Mm-hmm. So. And
now you have a family, you have a young daughter, mm-hmm. and what do you like about the opportunity to to grow your family here and raise your family here in Cranbrook?
Well, I was thinking about this because I sort of thought you might ask this, and my daughter goes to TM Roberts, which we are not in that catchment, the school TM Roberts, and so we live sort of opposite sides of town from that, but it is still a short bike ride on Rotary Trail as well as a couple quiet streets, and we're across town, and you don't even have to think about riding your bike that far, right? So it's still a really small town. You can walk anywhere in town within 20 minutes. Doesn't matter if you live like on the far southeast to the far northwest. It's not far. I love the downtown core is just getting more and more vibrant without being touristy, without having that transience that goes along with tourist meccas. It's where you settle down. So.
Do you think it's about maybe communicating things like that a little bit better, or do you think it's just...
Do we really want to? But no,
I guess that's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is the big question. And yes, like you go use our abundance of trail systems or whatever your outdoor passion is, and you don't see anyone out there, right? So we could increase the usership 200-fold and still be fine. We wouldn't feel crammed out there. So yes, I do want to get the word out how great we are. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't think we need to say like, come here, we're outdoor epic, because everywhere in BC is. I think we just have to be us and embrace that.
Do you think that I mean, people who, like young people like yourself who go away and then come back, do you think that maybe there's a sense of, as a teenager, as a kid, taking it for granted a little bit, and then going away, and
totally.
When you go away and you live in the city or you live somewhere else, you realize how much you actually have here, and then it's such a good place to live. Do you have that feeling?
Yeah, for sure. Like with, Calgary so close, Vancouver so close, and both of them such sort of, they have a lot going for them. Like both those places are great places, of course. But yeah, if there's just something about the lifestyle here that is just so easy once you're, raising a small family or getting your career started, whatever it is. It's just a lot less stress about all that kind of stuff. So actually I just saw a post that a friend who's 10 years younger than me is now moving back from his exciting Vancouver lifestyle back to Cranbrook. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. You're at that right age to be
like
now coming back to you. Yeah. So, yeah, maybe we don't have anyone living here that's between the ages of 18 and 28.
All right. And finally here, what are your hopes for the future here in Cranbrook? Obviously, you're invested in the community. You're raising a family here. What do you hope to see happen in the next say 10 years? I just think there's endless possibilities with sort of the little niche businesses opening up that, 5-10 years ago we'd be like, oh, we couldn't support that.
whether it's like an Indian restaurant or a sushi restaurant 10 years ago. No way, we couldn't support that. I just want to see that. I want to see everyone sort of just be able to embrace whatever niche or subculture they're in and bring that forward and get those going, because I think we do have the ability to support those places.
And hopefully one day you could invite Lonely Planet back and get maybe a little bit of a description of Cranbrook.
We offered them that, but yeah, that was interesting to hear. They have a very strict, tight schedule that they have to obviously adhere to get their stuff published.
Well, there's always hope. Anyway.
Yeah.
Nathan, thanks for joining us on Where You Live.
Thanks.